afternoon. Welcome to Why Is This a Thing?
Welcome, people.
Wednesday, July 24th, 2019.
It's still 2019?
It is.
Jesus.
Man.
Jesus. When will it end?
It never ends, man.
This year has been going on forever.
It just keeps going and going and going. How's your year, Adam Hall?
Oh, it's a fine year. It's a good, solid, great, amazing, beautiful year.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a bad year.
No,
necessarily.
I had a great couple of years. It's not like 2017, which, you know, like fuck 2017. But, you know, it's been going, like, I could only go further up, I guess, you know. Everyone
That's what you think.
Oh boy.
Do you measure your life in terms of years? I guess you do when you celebrate birthdays. But what I mean is...
That's actually an excellent point.
Do you think about 2016 and say that was a net positive on my life and then 2017 was a net negative? Or do you find all of that arbitrary?
I guess I think about it that way. I mean, there's a question or a debate on whether or not it matters. But my natural instinct is to be like, yeah, that year was great, that year sucked, so on and so forth.
Right. Yeah, I find it very stupid.
Yeah.
I find it all very stupid.
Probably
I
is.
just say, my early 20s were whatever, and then my late teens were this. And
well, that's at a certain point, though, I think, more recent years, you kind of judge it that way. But when I think back on, my middle school years, I don't go, oh, yeah, 2006, 2007, those were just that. 2007 was a really...
Do you remember any of those years?
Oh, God, yeah.
If I said to you 2009, do you remember what you were doing in 2009?
Yeah.
What were you doing in 2009?
It was freshman year of high school.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess that all right, fine. Yeah, but I won't remember it that way.
No, see, I'm weird with dates and
Oh, you're good with dates.
Yeah, fairly good with dates. Although, when I think back to, high school, I don't judge it based on the years necessarily, even though I know which year was which for me.
I'll tell you how it makes sense to me, and it's not because I do a podcast about this, but movies are really the benchmark.
Yeah.
That's how I can differentiate. I'll remember, for example, I remember my senior year of high school. It was the final month, maybe the second to last month of high school, and me and 20 other friends went to the movies and saw Iron Man 3. So that's how I know Iron Man 3 came out in 2013.
See, I think of Wolf of Wall Street. Was that 2013?
That was 2013, yeah. I saw that in college. Yeah, it was my freshman year of college.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll remember the movies that I saw at the beginning of freshman year. Mm-hmm. But other than that, events, this person was born, this person died, this person got married. I suppose. I just think about it like movies.
I guess, I think of 2009. I guess you cite Avatar or something like that.
Yeah,
and then it's 2011. I think of Drive, and I think of my geometry class when we were talking about the movie specifically. It was that in my civics class. For some reason, me and a buddy of mine just talked endlessly about Drive and how surprisingly good it was. Mm-hmm. And then we talked more about it after I had seen it. I was like, oh my god, okay.
And I remember seeing Dark Knight in 2008 with my parents. I remember this as clear as day. My father, my mother, my brother, and I. It was the summer after 8th grade, I guess, is what it would have been.
Yep.
And we saw Dark Knight and then went to Starbucks afterwards. And all four of us were like, whoa.
That was a good movie.
Heath Ledger, baby.
That was a solid movie about Batman.
Why so serious? I was just quoting the movie to random Starbucks patrons, you know?
We get it, kid. I mean, we all love the movie, you dipshit. I saw it at a drive-in. I saw it at the same drive-in that...
Whoa!
Yeah. Yeah.
You drove into Dark Knight for the first time?
Yeah, I saw it at a drive-in at the same place that I just saw Toy Story 4.
You go to drive-ins often?
No. Hell no. This is the first time I did it since The Dark Knight.
Okay, that feels really icky to me. No, I get that.
Why?
Listen, drive-ins are sentimental and awesome.
Yeah.
Sure. But to see Planet Terror, that's the type of movie you see at a drive-in.
Yes.
You don't watch The Dark Knight for the first time with a grainy image, the moonlight reflecting off the screen, the speaker cutting in and out of your car.
Yeah, and it's me and like four other people just kind of hanging out in the back of an SUV chilling, and
That's not how you're supposed to watch a classic movie for the first time.
Yeah. and I'm like snuggled up next to a girl that had a crush on me or something.
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Wow. Middle school, man.
Yeah, I know. That's fun.
That was the last girl to ever have a crush on you.
Yeah. Accurate. Including Abby.
Yeah, drive-ins. Wow. How was Toy Story 4 at the drive-in?
It was good.
Yeah?
Yeah, we had a great time when it was like, I playing it through our speakers is a weird experience. I don't know.
They don't have the little speaker that is like next to the parking spot anymore.
No, there's like a disconnect with that because I think that's what it used to be. But they're like, go to this radio station, like I think it was like 87.5 or something.
And it's just short range, right?
Yeah, exactly. And you just get it right there, and it's cool. And it's kind of strange, like differentiating that because you feel like there's a disconnect between the audio and the image.
Exactly.
So
it's not surround sound.
No. Yeah, I mean, it was still fun, though.
Was there a lag time?
No. Thank God. But I think there's a little bit of anxiety where it's like any point you feel like it could lag.
Right.
I was like, what if they're like missing a couple frames?
Sure.
Because that could easily happen.
Or what if the radio just goes shh for like 5 seconds?
Exactly. It's like, well, I just missed a key portion of dialogue with Woody.
I just missed a Don Rickles joke.
Don Rickles is dead.
They included him in the movie, though, didn't they? I haven't seen Toy Story 4 yet.
Barely. I got a feeling it was like archival footage from like deleted scenes.
I think that's exactly what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
They cobbled together archival stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, maybe I'll find myself in a drive-in one of these days.
You've never been to a drive-in?
I never have.
Wow.
I never have.
And you call yourself a film fan. No, you're not a true film fan if you don't go to a drive-in.
I see films as they're meant to be intended. I see them in a cinema.
You mean you see them on your couch in front of a streaming service or whatever?
Yeah.
How they're meant to be seen?
I see IMAX 3D, Dolby Vision, whatever the hell they call it.
Good for you.
Yeah. No, I just watch them on my phone. I watch every movie. Seriously though, I get really weirded out if I don't watch a movie for the first time in the right way. What I call the right way. I don't watch movies on laptops. I don't watch movies on phones. The monitor's got to be at least 32 inches, and preferably it would be like a 52-inch flat screen, or it's in the theater.
Yeah, I prefer it in the theater, but I just get stuck in situations where I have to watch it on my laptop.
Right. That's the absolute lowest I'll go in a pinch.
I will never, ever, 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 ever watch it on my phone.
Yeah,
it's not allowed.
Yeah.
And I will punish my kids if they ever watch movies on their phones.
Right. That's weird. Well, pretty soon they'll be watching in the little implanted memory chips.
Jesus.
Right in the temple.
Maybe we've gone too far, guys.
No, we're only going farther.
We're cutting into our children's skulls and putting little chips in there.
So they can watch Avengers. This is really the end game this time.
Congratulations, by the way, Avengers, for trumping Avatar, even though it's funny because I don't care.
Does anyone?
No. I feel like there was a big like hurrah made about when Avatar like was the highest grossing movie of all time, and now Avengers is, and we're like, okay.
I know. Congratulations, Disney Corporation. I mean, you now have even more money than you had a month ago.
Yeah. I can't wait till the inevitable rebellion of Disney. Like
the rebellion, it's like Star Wars.
Exactly.
They've taken over too much of the galaxy, and so Fox Searchlight decides to like pair up with A24 and kill Bob Iger.
That's a great idea. Oh my! What would the rebels dress up as? Because you get like a bunch of people going after like a bunch of Mickeys and Goofies and whatnot.
Right.
Who would be the adversaries?
So I think maybe you dress them up as the what were the chipmunk characters? Like you have to pick the. Actually, maybe it's Donald. Maybe Donald Duck.
Donald Duck.
Because Donald Duck, like, he ain't got no respect.
Got no
Disney
respect.
World. I got no respect at all.
Got no respect.
Oh!
So you're saying Donald Duck is the Rodney Dangerfield of Disney?
I think, well, certainly. No, but I think if a Disney character were to slaughter all of his friends in a fit of rage, Donald would be that guy.
Okay.
I think he is a symbol of transgressiveness and rebellion. That's the Donald Duck poster in my bedroom is right up against Slipknot God. And Nirvana. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Donald, man.
What the hell? The Donald? Well, I guess that's...
No, not the Donald. Donald.
Pretty close.
Well, that's the other thing, too. Yeah, whoever voiced Donald Duck got really pissed off when Trump became president.
Too bad. Go fuck yourself. You'll live.
Yeah, he wants his Donald to be the Donald.
You should be proud of yourself, man. Your name is associated with an orange-haired president and an orange-faced president and all that other good shit.
What are we talking about?
I don't know.
Why is this a thing?
Yes, that's true.
Nick Evangelista is not here.
Yes, in case you didn't notice.
Yeah.
Although, honestly, he probably wouldn't have said anything with what we've been talking about by now.
Sure. Well, we wouldn't be talking about it in the first place. Zach Caponegro is also not here.
Still.
Yeah. He is graduating, evidently, from his academy in like 2 weeks, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I heard.
So we will maybe get him on the phone.
I would like to get him on the phone.
Yeah.
That'd be sweet.
Because I think he's going to have a weekend to himself. So maybe, if we plan it right, maybe we can call him up and we can record that for the podcast. Because evidently he sent us a letter. I heard this from his wife, Jackie, former guest of the program.
Former girlfriend, Jackie.
Yeah, former first lady of this show. And she said that a letter was apparently on the way. That's what Zach told her. But I have yet to receive one.
We've gotten exactly 0 letters from this bastard.
Yep, no communication whatsoever. Yeah.
I think he's glad to be rid of us.
And listen, the listeners are dying to hear from him.
I know.
But so he'll be back soon. But until then, it's me and you talking. Could this be like one of the 5 most discussed topics of our friendship?
What?
Quentin Tarantino movies.
Oh, well, this isn't just a Quentin Tarantino, but I mean, it's your fault. At the end of the day, it's like you have your Tarantino, I have my David Fincher, and we just kind of leave it at that. I'm on this side of the pond and you're over there.
Yeah. You're on the other side of the pond. You're with the Brits.
I'm fine being with the Brits, okay? At this point. I feel like I'm a little more forgiving of Tarantino than you are of David Fincher, though. I mean, I don't know. We've never actually talked about it. We haven't talked about it in detail. We haven't had enough chances to really do it.
I wouldn't call myself unforgiving of David Fincher. I think David Fincher is a master of the screen. I've always said that. I just think some of his movies are they maybe appeal to the lowest common denominator in a way that I don't necessarily appreciate.
Okay.
And they're also a little bit pretentious. He has a way of dipping into those waters.
Sure. I say the same about Quentin Tarantino.
I know you would. I find his movies to be much more joyful, though, and expressive, and I can forgive how much fun he's having. Mm-hmm. That being said, today we will be discussing, by far and away, my least favorite Quentin Tarantino movie.
Oh, yeah, mine too.
I think everyone's least favorite Quentin Tarantino movie.
Absolutely.
And one of the reasons why I'm not a huge Death Proof fan is because it's a bit too self-aware and a bit too serious, and what he's going for, although I acknowledge is a big swing, is not really in the spirit of the Grindhouse genre.
I mean, I'll just say straight up, I just don't think he made a Grindhouse movie.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate problem with it. I mean, even the first half, what's interesting about Death Proof is that it starts out as like kind of a Grindhouse movie. The only thing Grindhouse about it is the look and the stuntman Mike character, and then it literally stops being a Grindhouse movie.
Right.
There's the halfway point where it quite literally stops being that.
Right.
And it's very confusing and jarring, and I don't know quite why he did that. But I also have to say that I don't hate the movie either. As a matter of fact, there's a lot that I sort of appreciate about the film.
Okay. So we'll get into all of those details. Mm-hmm. But first, a little background about what we're talking about today.
Yeah.
Grindhouse is technically the film that's going to be discussed. But Grindhouse is a double feature. Mm-hmm. Something that used to happen a lot, specifically at these things called Grindhouse theaters.
Exactly.
In the 60s and 70s. Some of the pulpy, exploitative genre picks of the day. Mm-hmm. And we're talking about like the real bottom of the barrel shit.
This is the kind of stuff that you'd probably find like Pink Flamingos playing in.
Yes.
More likely.
I guess now they call them midnight movies.
Yeah.
But midnight movies have come to mean a lot of things. It was kung fu shit. It was blaxploitation shit. Mm-hmm. It was horror. It was like car movies, weird redneck car movies. And the one thing, and I know that Rodriguez and Tarantino have talked about this, the posters were always really good. That was like the most iconic. That was the big thing about Grindhouse Films is they always looked super sexy and inventive and creative on the poster. And then you saw the movie and it was total shit.
Yeah, exactly.
And one of the ideas behind Grindhouse, the double feature, were to make two movies that lived up to the posters. You know?
I love that attitude.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, this is another thing we'll talk about, I guess, with the movies, because I mean, these movies are such a step up from what Grindhouse movies generally are. It's not even, they almost stop being Grindhouse movies in a funny kind of way.
Right.
And this will carry over into like other films that have been made, like The Machetes and The Hobo with a Shotgun. And I honestly think there's only one of the 5 movies that, you know, in that lineage here that we're going to talk about. I really only think there's one that is like completely and utterly Grindhouse.
Yeah.
I wonder if you guess which one it is.
Yeah, I actually know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay.
So let's dig into it. Grindhouse, directed by Robert Rodriguez, Quentin Tarantino, and others, because in its initial screening, the movie was accompanied by several fake trailers. Mm-hmm. Trailers for movies that did not exist until now.
Okay.
Included among those directors are Rob Zombie, Edgar Wright, Eli Roth, and this guy Jason Eisner. Should we begin with the trailers? Let's just start there.
Sure.
Yeah, so these things sort of bookend both of the movies. They appear in between Planet Terror and Death Proof, directed by Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino, respectively. I watched them for the first time last night. I think you did too.
Yes.
What did you think of them?
Oh, they're so much fun. They're so fucking stupid. But I mean, God, I love this stupid ass shit. And it's very obvious, like, who's who. I noticed, like, I knew who directed each one of them, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's clearly this guy and this guy. But it was funny because I texted you after I'd watched them, and I'm like, I kind of want to see some of these. Specifically, I want to see Don't.
Yeah.
I want to see Don't so bad.
So Don't is actually the best part of this entire saga.
Yes.
Don't is my favorite thing that Grindhouse produced. It is directed and written by Edgar Wright, of course, Baby Driver and Shaun of the Dead and The End of the World, or whatever the movie's called. And
The World's End.
The World's End. Yeah, you know the drill. Hot Fuzz.
Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Did you say that?
I purposely did not.
Oh, you're a fucking asshole.
Want to leave that piece of shit out?
You're a piece of shit. Let's leave you out. Scott Pilgrim's better than you.
So Don't is, I guess, an homage to old horror movies.
Hammer horror films.
What is that?
Hammer horror films.
What is Hammer horror?
It's like it's a very specific style of like almost like Tim Burton-esque horror films. I mean, something he adopted with like Sleepy Hollow and whatnot. It's the like they're characterized by like a lot of like drab colors, but very, very vibrant, violent colors when it needs to get violent, like blood, so stuff like that. So like the Christopher Lee Dracula would be categorized as Hammer horror, and they did one for like Frankenstein as well and a few others.
Okay. So this trailer includes Jason Isaacs, Matthew McFadden, Katie Malua, Will Arnett does the voiceover, Nick Frost appears in the basement, and it's such like a simple joke, but it's so. I almost want to play it just right now.
Funniest, God, it is hilarious. I was like rolling on the floor laughing.
It's just such a great audio joke. Yeah, you know, let me just pull this up because my words cannot do it justice.
Just how it riffs on horror movies and trailers, and it's brilliant.
Yeah, the audio of it is just amazing. Here it is. I'm going to play it on YouTube right now.
Are thinking of going into this house. Don't. If you are thinking of opening this door. Don't. If you are thinking of checking out the basement. Don't look behind. Don't look inner. Don't look up. Don't look anywhere. even breathe. Don't, 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 If you are thinking of seeing this film alone, don't.
It's all for that one joke. It's such a one-note joke, but it's brilliant.
I love it. It's just like, that's just that guy, though. He's just so smart. You know what it reminds me of, though, is don't say it, hiss it.
Yeah!
That's exactly what it is.
Your movie trailers are so stupid.
Oh my god, I love old movie trailers. It's just like, wow, it's amazing to look back and think of how stupid people must have been.
Well, they really don't use that voiceover guy that much anymore, do they?
Not really. They use it a lot in like some horror films, but generally speaking, no, not really.
In a world, you never hear "in a world" anymore.
Well, that guy's dead, I think.
Oh, is he?
In a world where both of our cars were totally underwater. That guy.
Yeah, he's gone. But yeah, just repeating the title over and over again, and there's really no meaning behind that word at all.
Exactly. Like it's something that, you know what kind of did it was Get Out.
I guess
Get Out actually did kind of do it.
Yeah, I guess
now that
so.
I think about it, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Get Out.
Yeah.
Get out.
Get out. Get out. You know, all that other stuff.
Right.
So yeah, there's one example, but it sort of riffs on that as well, where it uses the characters saying it. So it kind of works.
Yeah, that is my favorite part of this entire movie by a mile.
Like everything that we've watched.
You also have Rob Zombie's werewolf women of the SS.
Probably the best thing Rob Zombie's ever done too.
I think by a mile.
God damn, Rob Zombie sucks.
You hate those Friday the 3rd. No, not Friday.
No,
the Halloween ones.
Halloween movies. His
movies.
Halloween movies are offensive. God, I want to burn every copy. I want to burn the original reels of those movies. I hate them so much.
So the idea behind this movie is that the Nazis kidnapped a bunch of women and did like experiments on them to turn them into werewolves, and now the werewolves have revenge.
Yeah, as they do usually.
Right.
Like an FDR American Badass.
And there's not much more to this trailer. There's nothing really notable. I mean, it's like another exploitation weird monster movie. Reminded me a lot of that J.J. Abrams, the Bad Robot movie that came out last year with... I mean, J.J. Abrams didn't direct it, but it was his
Overlord.
studio. Overlord, yeah. Reminded me a lot of that movie.
Yeah. I just kept thinking of like video games like Wolfenstein, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
Right.
He's clearly riffing off of that and whatnot. I keep saying riff, Jesus Christ. But he's like taking inspiration from all that stuff. But it's nice to see Rob Zombie actually do something that's like funny.
Right.
You know, because most of the time he's drab and depressing and just gross, and I hate it.
Well, you know what helped was the cameo at the end of this trailer. And when I watched this, I could not believe my eyes.
Who's at the end of this one again?
As Fu Manchu.
Oh,
Nicolas Cage. I'm like, wow, this movie gets it.
Yes.
Grindhouse, baby. I should say, I came to appreciate Grindhouse a lot more over the past 24 hours.
The movie, like this
whole experiment.
Okay. Yeah, me too.
But revisiting some of the behind the scenes stuff and watching the trailers, these really enhanced it for me.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure Nicolas Cage as Fu Manchu helped significantly.
Yes.
I had seen that clip like a while ago, and I had no idea what it was from. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And then finally, sitting down with this, I'm like, oh, wow. And it was just this nice cathartic experience to see Nicolas Cage be revealed to me as Fu Manchu in Grindhouse.
You have the movie Thanksgiving.
Which I thought it was Thanksgilling for a second. I thought they were saying Thanksgilling, but I like this one too, kind of.
Yep. It was Eli Roth's movie. Man, Eli Roth kind of sucks, though.
Apparently his last movie was pretty good.
What, The Death Wish?
No, House with a Clock in Its Walls.
Oh, he made that?
A lot of people really like it.
Eli Roth made that movie?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Isn't that weird?
Wasn't that like a kid's movie?
Yeah. It was a real interesting like change of pace, because everyone who saw it was like, you should just keep doing these movies. Like, what are you doing? Stop making those shitty like exploitative cannibal movies and shit.
Right.
I mean, have you seen The Green Inferno?
No.
That movie you would think it would be like a Kill Me-a-thon type movie, but it is the dumbest goddamn thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, he's just so dumb. Yeah, look at that. House with the Clock in Its Walls. Eli Roth. Jack Black from last year.
I know.
That's so nuts. I know The Death Wish reboot was not great.
Yeah, and then not surprised.
Yep. He did Hemlock Grove too, that Netflix series. Mm-hmm. I've never seen Hostel either.
It's dumb as fuck. Again, it's like what is this shit? I just think, I mean, a lot of it is just marred by the fact that he doesn't know how to direct actors generally.
Right.
I just think the performances some of these people put in are like really special with how bad they are.
Which I don't understand because he's an actor himself. You'd think that would be his one skill set.
Well, it makes me think, like, is he cueing them this way? But I mean, I'm sorry, but he's cueing them in a way that's so bad that it becomes distracting.
Right.
And it's like, you never want that. Like, if you're going to do like deliberately like over the top acting, there's various directions you can go that's fitting for the material, but this is just not working.
This Thanksgiving trailer is just a takeoff on Halloween, essentially.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's rated NC-17. That's what it says at the end of the trailer, and there's a lot of boobs in it. Yeah, very Eli Roth stuff. Like, there's this one scene where there's a cheerleader bouncing on a trampoline, and the murderer that is carving up all of these people on Thanksgiving, they play a lot on those puns, sticks a knife up her vagina, essentially, when she lands on the trampoline.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, Eli Roth, you cannot help yourself.
No. It's like, what's the sickest thing I can come up with? I got it.
Right, which is, I guess, the point. I understand, but something like Don't just works a lot better. The simplicity of that joke and how clever it is, although it is stupid and it's a little mindless, there's something a little more economical about that trailer. Like, it gets a lot out of a little, as opposed to Thanksgiving, which just hit you over the head with violence and sex and boobs.
Yeah, it's not really creative. And it's funny because they're trying to be creative with their Grindhouse isms, if we want to call it that.
Yep.
But then Edgar Wright's like, let's look at it from this perspective here.
Exactly.
And just create a funny gag.
Yeah.
I like it.
And it's a much better gag.
It is.
And then you have the two most prominent trailers, or the most well-known now, because they're both household names to a certain extent.
Yeah.
At least a household name among these parts. Among our households.
Yes.
Yeah. Machete with Danny Trejo, which has produced 2 spin-off movies, was initially intended to be a fake trailer.
Yeah.
Machete and Machete Kills.
I haven't seen Machete Kills.
I have seen Machete, though.
I like Machete.
I do too. I do too.
It's not bad.
Why do we like Machete?
Is it Danny Trejo?
Maybe. Yeah, definitely.
It could be.
Trejo's so much fun.
It's like the role he was born to play, I think.
Right. So Machete is like supposed to be this takeoff on the Charles Bronson movies and the Jean-Claude Van Damme movies. And he's just a Mexican guy taking revenge with a priest.
I love that. And there's nothing better to me than a priest that wields guns.
Yeah.
Speaking of Edgar Wright, by the way.
That's true. And they actually borrow a lot of the stuff from the trailer and use it in the movie.
Well, I noticed that. I was like, wait a second, this was supposed to be fake because this is in like all this is in the movie.
Yeah, they recreate a lot of those shots, not with the original actors. Like, for example, when Danny Trejo is in the river by the waterfall and he's with the 2 topless women, those are just 2 random women in the trailer. In the real movie, that's Lindsay Lohan, isn't it?
One of them is Lindsay Lohan, I believe. I don't know who the other one is, though.
Yeah.
Why are they always topless? Like those characters specifically. Like, aren't they topless throughout the entire movie?
Yeah. Yeah, what's your point? You have a problem with that?
No.
You have a problem with seeing Lindsay's boobs?
No. Well, maybe Lindsay's boobs. But
Lindsay looked pretty hot in that movie.
She was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't he get the girl from fucking Spy Kids to do the second one?
Yes.
What's her name?
Oh, I forget, but she's super hot now.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my God.
Oh, she's crazy hot.
I was like, I don't feel comfortable with this.
Yeah, it was kind of like when Arya Stark had sex at the end of Game of Thrones.
Is that the equivalent?
Yes. Alexa Penavega.
Okay.
I think it's maybe just Alexa Vega. Yeah. Yeah, she's like super hot now.
Is she fetching?
Quite fetching. Quite fetching.
Arya Stark at the end. Like, that was just gross.
Yeah, it was disgusting.
I was like, what? Ugh, no.
I knew you when you were 11, you know? Like,
yeah.
You think about it that way, you grow up with some of these actors.
It might have been a little better had, like, that season not sucked.
Well, maybe.
So.
Yeah, I would want... Man, I can't go back and watch Spy Kids now. I don't think it would work anymore.
You can't look at that Teletubby baby in the sun either. Have you seen what she looks like?
No! Teletubby baby is hot?
Kinda, yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Kinda. Teletubby baby. Teletubby baby in the sun? Yes. Like, there's,
Hold
there's
on.
some decent photos of her.
Let me just check this right now.
Let's see if you can find the right one.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Oh, shit.
Oh, no, wait a minute. Is this looks like a little girl. That's not a grown woman yet.
She's a grown woman now, yeah.
Okay, here we go. Let's see. She has a kid of her own.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's cute.
She's pretty.
Yeah, she's pretty. No, that's not the same Alexa Vega problem.
That I would agree with.
Yeah, that's a big issue. Yeah, Machete, I just found it interesting that it was first supposed to be a fake trailer and then Rodriguez made it into a real movie.
Yeah, but it's fitting for Robert Rodriguez to do it. Like, that's the kind of movie that's right in line with his wheelhouse. Hobo with a Shotgun should not have been a real movie.
Yeah. So this, again, directed by a guy named Jason Eisner, who ended up making the real Hobo with a Shotgun movie, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Submitted this trailer to the South by Southwest fake trailer contest. Fake trailer grindhouse contest, I guess. So they were accepting submissions, Tarantino and Rodriguez. And this was this little independent thing. He's a Canadian guy, so they shot it up in Canada. Mm-hmm. Again, has nothing to do with the movie that came afterwards. It was just a really cheaply made fake trailer. And it won the contest, so it got submitted into the movie. And then fast forward to 2011, Hobo with a Shotgun feature-length film comes out. Mm-hmm. And that is legitimately a Grindhouse movie.
Yes, and this is, to me, it's the only one that is through and through Grindhouse, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's... The ironic thing is that I might actually like that movie better than both Death Proof and Planet Terror.
I do, by a mile.
Okay, good.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
That movie just revels in what it is, and it's glorious.
So I guess this is a good way to transition into... I guess we'll talk Planet Terror first. One of the interesting things about these two movies as a double feature is it tells you a lot about the directors making them. You know? Mm-hmm. Because Tarantino, obviously, is a master of film.
Yeah.
One of the great American filmmakers of all time. He's like a top 10 or 20 guy. And always had a sort of a perverse affection for these B movies, the Grindhouse movies, the exploitation movies, and pays homage to them in his films. And certainly draws inspiration visually and through the script.
But I hate to say it. He's too good for them.
Yeah. Bingo. And I think he knows he's too good for them. Mm-hmm. Which is why I think the movies always brush up on homage, but they don't quite get to full-on embracing the genre.
Not like the way like Hobo with a Shotgun does.
Right.
Not even close, actually.
Right. And the thing about Rodriguez is I'm not sure he knows he's making shitty movies. Like, I just think this is what he's put on the earth to do. He's put on the earth to make something like From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah.
Which is a campy, fun vampire movie.
Yes.
And as you said earlier, I think you said this earlier, Planet Terror is just another Robert Rodriguez movie.
Pretty much, yeah.
You know?
That was my biggest issue with it, like as I was watching with it, is, and I don't dislike Planet Terror. I mean, I got to get that out of the way right now. But I kept thinking, I don't know if this even technically qualifies as Grindhouse to me. There is a disconnect because he's technically proficient enough where it doesn't really cross over. Whereas there's someone like the difference between someone like Rodriguez and something like the guy who made Hobo with a Shotgun is that I think that guy knows how good he actually is, and he knows that he kind of fits in line with with the way Grindhouse movies generally operate, so he just goes for it. Yeah. And doesn't really care what anybody else thinks. Whereas Rodriguez is holding some kind of standard. He can't really branch off too much to the way that Grindhouse films generally would. Otherwise, he's kind of fucked. And the same could obviously be said about Tarantino with Death Proof. Yeah. But you're right, there is sort of a disconnect because Tarantino's making something so incredibly self-aware and so outside the box, breaking the rules of the genre and trying stuff, but trying stuff as an auteur, not as just a schlocky B-movie director. And Rodriguez is almost,
he comes from the old school of schlocky B-movie directors in a good way. I mean, he's one of the better B-movie directors of all time. Could be the best B-movie director of all time.
Possibly,
yeah. And is almost trying to punch up. And there's something a little off about it. It's like, are you making something self-aware? Are you making fun of Grindhouse movies? Are you paying homage to Grindhouse movies? Or are you just making a Grindhouse movie?
Yes, and I find that disconnect like confusing at times because there are scenes that definitely feel that way, and then there's other scenes where it's like, wait a second, what? Like this is tonally, this is a little heavier than you, I think, originally intended. So yeah, I don't know. It feels like he's kind of hopping back and forth, like he's almost unsure himself.
Right. That being said, some of the visuals here are just really cool.
Oh God,
the idea of putting a machine gun on a woman's leg is just awesome.
Oh yeah,
just a cool idea for a movie.
And then her using the fucking grenade launcher to hop over a wall and shooting people on the way down and never running out of it. Let me also mention that you need like grenade launchers. They don't have multiple rounds in them. You have to reload that one at a time. So how she managed to do that in the air, falling down, shooting at the guy. I mean, I don't know.
Right.
Maybe I'm treating it too realistically.
Yeah.
You think I should stop treating it realistically?
No, I think this is the exact amount of scrutiny you want to apply to Planet Terror. Okay. I would like more scientific deconstructions of some of these scenes, if you would.
It's the real problem with this movie is that it's not scientifically accurate enough.
How about the portrayal of zombies? Would you say that's sort of accurate to how they go in real life?
It's mediocre at best.
Okay, fair enough.
What the fuck?
How about the level of domestic violence Josh Brolin exhibits towards his partner? Would you call that realistic to real life or what?
Very.
Okay.
The only thing that they got right when he takes the syringes, starts stabbing her in the hands.
Is it weird that that's the most disturbing part of the movie for me?
Nope.
Needles in the palm.
Because you're pretty much, aside from maybe Quentin Tarantino's deformed penis falling apart. I mean, that was pretty bad.
How about the images of the penis that they showed in the doctor's office? Were those like real images?
I couldn't tell, but they were pretty damn convincing.
Oh my God. So disturbing.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of weird stuff like that in this movie. Just like imagery that's just like, ugh, just skeeves you out. That's the thing about Grindhouse films, that they're just dirty and nasty. Like, they feel like they're just soaked in vomit.
And some of the movie felt that way, but the action sequences, again, I thought were pretty well directed and choreographed. There were some visual ideas that I could tell worked better on the page than they did on the screen. It's like it wasn't entirely thought through, and it was a little showy at times. The movie sort of showed its work in a way that wasn't as smooth as you would come to expect from these two guys.
Yeah.
But again, I thought it was pretty campy and pretty fun. And dare I say, it worked a little better than Death Proof did for me.
Yeah.
I may like this movie a bit more.
I might too.
You know?
It's hard to say. I don't know where I fall, honestly. I mean, that's kind of the one thing I've been thinking about, because, I mean, there is a lot. I mean, we'll get to Death Proof, but I mean, it's a little more aware of what it is, more so than Death Proof, I guess. You know, it certainly revels in being a Grindhouse film more. Like, it doesn't feel ashamed of what it is. Whereas, like, Death Proof, there's times where Tarantino's clearly trying to pull back from that.
Right.
And that's the biggest problem with that movie.
Yeah. So we'll go through the plot real fast. Rose McCowan plays a stripper who gets her leg blown off. And there's this like radiation that has found its way into the town because the dude from Lost and Bruce Willis were making a deal, and the deal went awry, and so all the townsfolk got infected by zombie juice, and now they're zombies and they're attacking people.
A la exactly the way the Return of the Living Dead happens.
Yeah, literally exactly the same.
The green gas, and they eat people's brains. It's, yeah, same thing.
Yeah, exactly right. Rodriguez, I guess, wrote this thing back in the 90s because he thought that zombie movies were about to make a big comeback. And it turns out a few years go by, they did make a huge comeback, and this movie slots in quite nicely. Except there are big names. Josh Brolin, as I said, is in this movie. Bruce Willis is in this movie. Some other character actors that you would recognize. Michael Biehn shows up.
Yeah, I noticed that. I
sheriff.
was very happy to see that guy. I love Michael Biehn. I just wish he wasn't a drug addict dickhead, but you know.
So the details are not super important. Josh Brolin is sort of an abusive husband and also a doctor at this hospital. And
Sort of an abusive husband. What the hell are you talking about?
He's a very abusive husband.
Very abusive husband.
And his wife ends up becoming part of the team. She breaks her wrist and like has to fight the zombies alongside Rose McGowan.
That shot of her slipping and breaking her wrist. It's good stuff.
Yeah, it's just the little things.
Yeah, I know.
It's not the zombie violence. It's just the real violence. And yeah, there's a lover story. Rose McGowan's dating this dude, or it's sort of her ex-boyfriend. And again, are the details important? No.
Not
It's
really.
just to say that it's a zombie movie and there's some cool visuals. And I think it fits more in line to the Grindhouse playbook than Death Proof does.
Yeah. I know, like I said, it's not really there's some attention with that relationship, kind of.
Yeah.
Not really like thoroughly explored, but it's there to give the movie some heart.
Yeah.
But that's about it. The movie just wants you to have fun with it. And it's very shameless in that with how over the top it gets. Especially towards the end, like where she's riding on the motorcycle and she's like spraying the gun around, you know. Just cool shit. Like it's just a lot of fun. Again, but I mean, the problems come in with debating on whether or not it really thoroughly is Grindhouse, I guess. And I mean, just for what it is, I mean, I don't necessarily hold this stuff up to like a high degree of quality.
Right.
It is a B movie and it belongs there.
Sure.
And I even think Robert Rodriguez would be fine with that.
Yeah. Oh, it's certainly the intention. There's no question.
Yes.
I think like the movie has a certain amount to say about domestic violence and about feminism, and if you squint hard enough, you can see some of those themes. You know, they fight back against their male aggressors, and the zombies sort of represent that. And it's a very hoorah, go women movie.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Rose McGowan is a stripper, so she's literally the object of all men's sexual desires.
Yeah, but then she becomes like this kick-ass woman with a machine gun leg.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah.
Her legs, these attractive legs, become something to fight off her aggressors. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, Fergie shows up in this. I forgot about that.
Was that I guess it was.
Yeah, that was Fergie by the car.
Who gets eaten and pulled
Yeah.
off okay, I see.
Yeah.
What is with these random fucking Did you mention Michael Parks?
I did not.
Yeah. A favorite of both, I guess, Tarantino and Rodriguez.
Michael Parks is who again? Remind me.
He's the dad of the woman whose hands go numb.
Okay.
Who carries around her dead son most of the movie. Shoots himself in the head. Literally, that's a scene in the movie. This woman gives a gun to a child, and what happens? The logical thing. He shoots himself in the fucking head.
So did you want the movie to be more stupid or less stupid?
More stupid.
You wanted it to be more stupid.
More stupid.
Wow. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Because the movie's pretty damn stupid.
You're telling me.
How about when the dude from Lost carries a jar of testicles?
It's pretty stupid. It's pretty fucking dumb.
And you know Rodriguez was just licking his chops when he's writing the script, and he's like, oh yeah, he's gonna drop the bowl of testicles and he's gonna be forced to suck on one of them.
Yeah. Well, like scenes like that. But
Dramatic irony.
I love how that character dies. It's the funniest, most random death. He just gets his head blown off
out of nowhere.
He still has the bottom part of his jaw. I like little attention to detail like that.
Yeah.
But like the problem is that the movie is not like a beat by beat stupid like Hobo with a Shotgun is. Like there's lots of moments where it just rests and lets the characters be themselves. Like the El Rey character in the bar and whatnot. There's a lot of like quieter moments, surprisingly, and it doesn't. I don't know. There's a lot of points like that don't feel quite appropriate for what this movie's trying to be. So in that way, it's sort of. I don't necessarily think I want to like. I don't want to criticize it too hard. It's not like that stuff is bad. It's just out of place.
By the way, El Rey, the town that they're traveling to in From Dusk Till Dawn.
They say El Rey a lot. Robert Rodriguez has an El Rey network.
Yeah. El Rey Studios, I think, is his production company. Yeah, so that's where that name comes from. There's a lot of those little Easter eggs for Rodriguez fans and Tarantino fans alike. I had a few little fun facts about this movie, and then we can move on. So I guess Rose McGowan was cast as a fuck you to Harvey Weinstein.
What do you mean?
I guess that's what. Weinstein raped Rose McGowan. That was an allegation that came out in 2017.
Oh my God.
Finally broke. And the studio knew about it. And Weinstein's lawyers drew up a confidentiality agreement, and Rose McGowan was forced to sign it. And it was a big thing back in like the early 2000s. So Weinstein essentially banned Rose from any future Weinstein Company productions. Robert Rodriguez caught wind of this.
Oh my God.
And to get back at Weinstein, purposely cast Rose McGowan in this movie, knowing that Weinstein's brother, Bob, had no idea about the confidentiality agreement. So he just went around Harvey's back and said, I want to cast this girl. And Bob was like, sure, that's fine. Not knowing that his brother had raped her several years earlier.
Is Bob is Bob like off the hook, or was he doing bad stuff too?
Tough to say. Okay. I think the reports are conflicting on this.
Okay.
I think both of them, though, are out.
Good.
They lost control of their company, I think. I don't think the Weinstein Company exists anymore, does it?
No.
I think it was totally, I think it was wiped off the face of the planet.
If you really want to just, it's like blink and you'll miss it kind of a lesson. If you really want to save your company, don't rape a ton of women.
Yeah.
Oh, I know it's you got to really think about that one, but...
I mean, it's tough, man. Like, rapists gonna rape, you know?
I know. I understand. I understand that they have their...
Don't finish that sentence.
No.
I think just general rule of thumb, though, you're thinking about raping a girl, just don't do it.
Yeah.
How about if the thought crosses your mind, should I rape this person? Should I not rape this person?
But I want... No.
No need to
Don't do it.
No need to grab the magic 8 ball. Shake it up, say, hey, Magic 8 Ball, what do you think I should do here?
Don't count on it. Aww.
The answer is undecided.
It's like, come on, man. What the fuck?
Yeah, just don't rape women.
Is it that hard?
Apparently. So I thought it was a nice little fuck you, though, that Robert Rodriguez decided to needle Harvey.
Makes me love Robert Rodriguez.
However, Rodriguez says that Harvey kind of buried the movie because of that. And that's one of the reasons why it didn't do so well at the box office.
No.
It didn't have all the ad revenue behind it.
Hey, we saw it.
Yeah, that's true. We did see it. This is a fun little story. During filming, Josh Brolin asked Robert Rodriguez for a video camera so he could shoot his audition tape for No Country for Old Men. He ended up having his audition shot with $1 million digital camera they were using for the picture, directed by Quentin Tarantino, and with Mary Shelton reading the part of his wife in the scene. Mary Shelton was in the movie Planet Terror. The tape was then scored and edited by Rodriguez before being sent to Joel and Ethan Coen. Their first response on viewing the tape was, "Who lit this set?" So great. Fun little story there.
Who lit this set?
Yeah, that's Planet Terror. So there you go.
It's a solid, fun movie. It is what it is. It's exactly what you would expect.
Yeah. No more, no less.
Yes.
It's exactly. So now let's move on
to the more interesting conversation, in my opinion.
You wait around through a couple more trailers if you're watching the double feature in the cinema, and you get a look at Death Proof, starring Kurt Russell as Stuntman Mike.
I love Kurt Russell.
Along with Rosario Dawson, Zoe Bell, the stunt woman from Kill Bill.
She's in like everything that Tarantino does now. He puts her in like all of his shit. Yeah. She was in Hateful Eight, wasn't she? I
think she was
the stagecoach woman.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. She shows them the haberdashery.
Yeah. Is she Minnie?
No. She's like Minnie's like assistant.
Okay. All right. So Zoe Bell did the stunts she's a stunt woman and she plays herself in this movie. The character's name is Zoe Bell. She did the stunts for Uma Thurman in Kill Bill, and Quentin took a liking to her and then wrote this part essentially for her. This was sort of her starring role, and she appears on the poster, and it's a really big deal. Defend the movie for me, will you? Can you state the case pro
Death
Proof?
I mean, I like the dialogue. of course.
Okay.
I like the dialogue. I like the performances quite a bit. There's some really cool car chases in the movie. I think Kurt Russell is awesome.
Yeah.
Fucking love Kurt Russell in this movie. And I mean, just the scene by scene basis, it works pretty nicely. I mean, especially the reveal of what Stuntman Mike is actually about. Like, that's a pretty chilling sequence. I think the lap dance sequence is awesome. How could I not think it's awesome?
Yeah, I think it is.
Tarantino is forgivable in the movie. In his little small role.
Oh, his cameo is forgivable.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess.
And it's very, very well shot. It's got all those like technical things about it, and then the movie just stops. And you kind of walk back and you're like, oh wait, that's it?
Right.
Yeah.
So the movie is, I guess, purposely split in two parts.
Yeah.
And two very distinct parts. Like, it's basically two movies within a double feature. It's like almost like we're watching three different movies if you go to see Grindhouse.
Yes.
There's the first half where Kurt Russell, the stunt driver, with his death-proof car, stalks a bunch of hot women at a bar and kills them. And then, cut, here's Stuntman Mike 14 months later stalking another group of women, except this time he loses.
Yes. And that's it.
Yeah.
That's the plot of the movie.
What do you think about that structure, though? What about that doesn't work for you exactly?
I mean, first of all, the second half is not a Grindhouse movie.
Yeah.
If anything, it's a deconstruction of Grindhouse movies, possibly, and pointing out, like, okay, like let's put this character in an actual scenario and see how he does, and he gets absolutely obliterated. I just don't know what else to gain from the movie.
Yeah.
I guess. Like, once the movie's over, I mean, it is done, over, and it's very abrupt, and it's not satisfying at all. And I just kind of left the movie thinking, like, oh, that's it?
Right.
Okay. Which is unfortunate because I don't really dislike the stuff that comes before. I just think it's one of those funny examples of a movie where the ending actually kind of kills the movie for me.
Yeah, just because it's so abrupt. And I understand that was part of the intention. I know Tarantino in interviews has said that he's trying to deconstruct the horror genre and is attempting to play on your expectations. Like, for example, in the first half of this movie, you assume that these girls are going to drop one by one, and you assume that one of them is going to be left at the end to defeat Kurt Russell. And so when the movie hits the halfway point and all of these characters who we were led to believe are our heroes die, you're left with this now what sensation.
Yes. And I kind of like that.
Yeah.
And then the movie like literally becomes a different film, and it's even more uncomfortable, but it does a nice job at like cementing that feeling where it's like, oh God, yeah, things are different now.
Right.
But then again, it leads to a very like anticlimactic conclusion.
Yeah. And it just feels very disjointed.
Yeah.
And again, that might have been the point. And that's the big swing. And I understand that this is not a bunt. This movie is a big swing and a miss. He's going for the fences and he doesn't get there. And I'll always applaud a filmmaker that just misses and doesn't just phone it in. But yeah, I don't think that format helps the movie in terms of rewatchability, in terms of memorability.
That, and especially.
And in terms of emotional impact.
Yeah.
It just felt like a weirdly disjointed collection of scenes. Didn't feel like an entire film with a beginning, middle, and end. And you're 100% right. I don't know what I'm supposed to take away from this.
Yeah.
On a thematic level. And that's something I've never said about Quentin Tarantino movies, because normally those scripts are very rich and thematically resonant. And
yeah.
This is why I don't like Death Proof. I really don't like Death Proof.
That's fine, though. I don't really blame you. It's like I walked away from it and I'm like, I enjoyed bits and pieces. This is fun. This is okay. And I could watch Kurt Russell for hours. It's just like, yeah, like that, like the scene, like where they're just standing in that little like farm and they leave the cheerleader friend to the rapey farmer guy. I'm just like, what the hell?
Yeah.
What is this? What is Mary Elizabeth Winstead doing? Like, get out of here. What is, like, it just seems moments like that where just like, I don't know what he was thinking at times. And And again, like being obviously totally scared to actually make a Grindhouse film.
Right.
Like this should not have been featured in the Grindhouse double feature. It could have been its own separate thing as a commentary on Grindhouse films and horror films in general, but it should not have been included in the Grindhouse double feature.
This is something totally different.
Doesn't make any sense.
Right. 100%. Because the guy can't help himself.
Yeah.
You know, the guy is always looking to make something a little more clever, a little more self-aware, a little more inventive.
But so the other problem is that what he's trying to do with deconstructing the horror genre was already kind of done with Psycho.
Okay.
Which is irritating because he hates Hitchcock. But it's like, oh, your idea is like, oh, these are our characters and we're going to kill them halfway through and then you're going to be left vulnerable. Great idea. Alfred Hitchcock already did that with Psycho. Good job.
Yeah, Quentin, he's so frustrating. You know, he's one of the most frustrating directors just because we know what he's capable of. Mm-hmm. He's capable of pure brilliance and bliss, you know? And I almost wish he's never going to do this because he says he's actually retiring after his 10th movie, right? He's never just going to make a straight drama that embraces Hollywood, embraces the prestige nature of the business. It's by the book. It's technically proficient. He's never going to make just an Oscar bait movie. He's always going to be playing around in this weird sandbox with his offbeat Island of Misfit Toys. And sometimes you get something like this.
Yeah.
You know, where he's striving to make Gone with the Wind, but he also can't help himself. He wants to make Romeo and Juliet.
But it's annoying because I know he can do it. Like, there's plenty of scenes in Kill Bill where it's like there's some really touching, dramatic scenes with Uma Thurman, especially towards the end.
For sure.
And honestly,
the stuff with Bill is great.
Yeah.
Where they're in a hotel room together talking.
Yeah, I'd be so interested to see that. I want to see him make a legit, like a full-fledged horror movie, not something that's like playing around with it as much as Death Proof. I want to see like a Tarantino-style horror film.
Yes.
But like the closest he ever came to like dramatic, honestly, might have been like Jackie Brown. You know, I don't even consider that dramatic, but I guess it's the closest by default.
Yeah, it's certain. Well, yeah, it's the least winky, I guess.
Yeah,
it's the least like, look at me, I'm playing around with B movies.
I mean, the opening shot references The Graduate of all things,
right?
So I'm like, okay,
right,
interesting.
Yeah, and it also has like Robert De Niro in it. And he's just playing a Robert De Niro character, which is, I think, maybe that is the reason why I like Jackie Brown so much.
I get really frustrated when people say they don't like Jackie Brown. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
I kind of love Jackie Brown.
Yeah, it's kind of just like a paint by numbers caper movie.
But that's cool for him.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that? It's, you know, that is his panic room.
Yeah, I think that's right. I like how you put that. I think that's right. Yeah, he's just making a paint by numbers, by the book thing. And because he's so good at making movies, it works.
Yeah.
That's why I'll be so interested if this Star Trek movie ends up happening.
Is he actually doing a Star Trek movie?
He has been teasing it for a while now. You know, he's been saying that maybe I'll make it, maybe I won't. Because he's insistent that he's going to end after 10. So that means he's only got one left.
I mean, if his 10th movie is a Star Trek movie, could you imagine? Isn't that like if you track his trajectory, that is like the pinnacle? Like that's where directors should end.
Right.
The biggest movie they've ever made is their last movie. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I want to see what it'll look like. It's going to be a Tarantino movie. They're going to let him make a Tarantino movie.
I would
He's one
hope.
of the only directors that can flex that sort of clout. But he's still going to have to work with big movie stars in the Hollywood system. And with a brand that has a deep history.
Yep.
So, I don't know. I'd be interested to see him playing it straight to a certain extent.
I guess. I mean, Star Trek, you can play around a lot. I think enough to make Tarantino happy.
Right. You can't do it with Star Wars.
No.
They're never giving him Star Wars.
No, fuck no. He wouldn't take Star Wars, though. He wouldn't be interested in that.
If they let him make a Tarantino version of Star Wars.
I don't know if there is a Tarantino version of Star Wars. I can see a Tarantino version of Star Trek. I can't see that for Star Wars.
What do you think, if you had to pick one franchise for Tarantino to do, what would it be?
Mad Max?
Oh, good point. Oh, that's great. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, Tarantino doing a Mad Max sequel.
Yeah.
Dude, pitch this to Paramount right now. This needs to happen.
He could do it though. He could actually do it. I mean, I think if they'll continue making Mad Max movies at a certain point, but when they continue after George Miller dies, they're going to lose something. They just will. But it would be very, very interesting to see Tarantino get his hands on that, because I know he loves the Road Warriors quite a bit.
I'll tell you what they should do, and they'll never do this.
Yeah,
but just an idea. They should give Deadpool over to Tarantino. Maybe he doesn't have to direct it, but he should just be in the room producing it.
Be in the same way
he should write the script, and he should
same way he was in the room for From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yes, exactly. Just directed half the movie.
He directed that, didn't he? He just directed the whole movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
At least the first half.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should give Deadpool over to him.
I can see that.
Yeah. Oh my God, it'd be incredible.
And we wouldn't lose him. We wouldn't lose Tarantino.
He says he's doing theater from now on.
What?
That's what he says.
Okay.
He's doing theater. And get this, he also wrote... So Leo's character in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is like this TV Western star.
Yeah.
So he wrote 6 episodes of the fictional TV series that Leo's character starred in. Just to get a sense of the character. This was just a writing exercise.
What a weirdo.
So he wrote 6 episodes of the series, and he's thinking about doing that for a streaming service.
I feel like he just did that to show off.
Yeah.
Look how much I can write. It's part of my process.
So he hinted at, if Netflix pays him enough, he'll do it for Netflix.
Okay. He'll do something for Netflix?
Yeah, he'll do the 6-episode series.
Jesus.
That's what he says.
Jesus.
I don't know if Leo would ever do it, but yeah. That's...
Okay.
So that's what he says he's doing after movies.
All right. I don't fully believe him.
Yeah, I don't
You think he'll pull like a Soderbergh?
Yes. Oh, for sure.
Soderbergh actually kind of annoyed me. I'm done. Okay, now I'm done. Okay, now I'm done. It's like The Jerk, where he's like, I don't need anything else except this. I don't need anything else now except this.
But the thing about Soderbergh is no one took that seriously. No one believed for a second he was... The dude is addicted to filmmaking.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a drug for him. He makes so many movies.
I know.
And he shoots them on iPhones. Yeah, exactly. It's like, dude, what are you... It's like, imagine being Steven Soderbergh's buddy, and you're out for drinks on a Friday night and he just won't put his phone down.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like, Steven, quit directing for 5 minutes.
Yeah, well, it's funny you say, because I guess he's good friends with David Fincher, and Fincher makes fun of him with that all the time. He's just like, yeah, I'm over here. I've made 8 films, and this Soderbergh's fucking made 40 already.
I know, and he's making them on phones. I just think about James Cameron has spent 10 fucking years buried in a cave, dreaming up Avatar sequels, and they're gonna shoot it on the biggest IMAX cameras that have ever been invented. And he's going through this painstaking process. And meanwhile, Soderbergh's over here. He's made 3 movies on iPhones in the past year.
That are good, I guess.
They're good. Yeah, they're actually good.
Yeah.
High Flying Bird was really good.
Was that shot on an iPhone?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
It's a Netflix movie. He made it in a month. It's incredible.
How do you make a movie in a month? That doesn't make any sense. A feature-length movie in a month?
And he edits them himself, too, I think.
Yeah, he does. Edits them. He uses, pseudonyms and whatnot.
Right.
He does that a lot. Yeah. It's crazy. It's fucking nuts. Those auteurs, the ones who do it all.
These people are so nuts, man.
It's also crazy when they do the music, too, like Rodriguez.
Right.
And Rodriguez does, good music, too. Mm-hmm. Much more complicated than anything John Carpenter did, even though I like John Carpenter music much more.
Yeah, how do you find the ambition?
I don't know.
How do you find the effort? Because I just don't have that.
I love listening to... I love listening to the Carpenters of the world, where they're just we didn't have a lot of time. We didn't have a lot of money. Had to just come up with something.
Had to throw together the greatest movie theme of all time.
Yep. It's I wrote that in 2 hours.
Where did they get this?
It's
I can't write a thank you note in a day. I'm on my 3rd draft of my thank you note.
Some people just have that little thing.
Dusting off draft 4.
Draft 4, my thank you note. How many ways can I say thank you?
What isn't a thank you anyway?
WNBC. How many ways can you say that?
Well, many. We know that. Death Proof could be the the absolute sweet spot for the Tarantino foot fetish.
Oh God, yes.
So much feet in this movie. Remember when Kurt Russell licks the chick's feet? It's like, what is happening?
I don't know if I like that. I don't know if I like it.
It's my least favorite part of Tarantino is the foot fetish.
He likes his feet.
Yeah.
Him and like, what's the best Tarantino foot?
Oh, I think it's got to be Uma. Uma in Pulp Fiction. You get a good look at her feet.
Do you?
Yeah.
I guess you do. Yeah. And then there's Wiggle Your Big Toe.
Right.
I do like Diane Kruger when he's putting on the shoe.
Oh, yeah.
It's a good scene.
Well, that's great.
It's a good scene.
When he's seeing if the shoe fits.
When the shoe fits, you must wear it.
Dude, I'm so upset that you don't like Inglourious Bastards as much as I do. I legitimately think that thing's a masterpiece.
You're probably right. There hasn't been a movie that I've wanted to love more than Inglourious Bastards. And I've said this to you before, but it's true. Like, I get legitimately upset whenever I watch the movie afterwards, and I'm like, fuck, I can't get there. You know, I don't know what it is about the movie, because it's very obvious to me. Like, that scene was like masterfully done. That scene was masterfully done. Oh my God, that opening is incredible. But
it's just incredible short film after incredible short film.
It's so fucking good, and for some reason I never find myself loving it.
Yeah, it's so smart too, man.
Yeah,
some of the dialogue in that movie, and that's the thing about Death Proof. I actually think the dialogue is way overdone in this movie, and a lot of it feels like filler.
Yeah,
a lot of it feels like Tarantino had this idea for a movie, and that movie takes 10 minutes to tell, and so he just filled in the gaps with just needlessly elaborate monologues.
Oh God, yeah.
And verbal diarrhea.
Like the scene where they're in the hospital and they're trying to figure out like how this could have happened, and then it has no significance. It's just there to fill the time.
Right. The cop is just suspicious. He knows something is up with this stuntman, but he can't prove it.
Something's going to happen with this later. Oh no, they just crushed the guy's head with her foot.
Right. Goes nowhere. And I contrast that to something like Inglourious Bastards, or even The Hateful Eight.
Yeah.
Which is so smart about laying the pieces on the chessboard and the characters making moves to one-up each other. It's almost like Inglourious Bastards is a war movie, but the war is being fought with dialogue and not with guns.
Yes.
It's so damn good.
And when it is with guns, it's very satisfying and very explosive and kind of scary at times.
Yeah.
I think The Hateful Eight, it's much better and much more well crafted than anything in Death Proof. Similarly, though, it's like, okay, like, and you've said it before, it's like too much of a good thing.
It's too showy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually think that movie might have worked better on the stage too.
Yeah.
You know, because I mean, yeah, I think you said this one time. To shoot it on 70 millimeter and set it in a log cabin
makes no sense.
It makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah.
It's just too much, 100%.
Like, if there's anything about it that was trying to, be indicative of the fact that it is being showy, it would be that.
Yeah.
It's like, Tarantino, like, I love you, man, but no. No.
I'm going to pay Death Proof a few compliments now.
Okay.
We mentioned the foot fetish. There is an interesting deconstruction of the foot fetish in the car crash scene. Because remember the chick has her foot hanging out of the window?
Yeah.
And so when Stuntman Mike crashes the car and the foot falls off, it's just a very satisfying bit of violence.
It's not, it goes beyond that. It just like flies off. It like just disconnects. It's like she pressed like an unlock button and whoop, there goes your leg.
Really? Love that scene. That scene is just great.
Oh God, yeah. I gotta go get my girls. Good stuff.
Yeah, him driving up. It's just so well shot. It's a great bit of horror, great bit of visual storytelling, and the tension in that scene just ratchets up.
It is freaky too. Like, that idea actually scares me.
Yeah,
like someone driving towards me without their headlights on. That's something that I've always been very scared of. So,
oh yeah, absolutely. A lot of these actresses also were quite good. I love Rosario Dawson in basically everything, and she's great in this. And as you said, Mary Elizabeth Winstead is in it. And Zoe Bell is also quite good in the leading role.
I agree.
I love these women. So that's Death Proof.
Is it a bad movie? I don't know if I want to call it a bad movie.
Well, it's a different standard that we're dealing with here. We're dealing with Tarantino.
Sure.
And so there's an added weight when you call a Tarantino movie good or bad.
For Tarantino, it's bad.
Yeah.
As a movie in a bubble, it's tough. It's tough to say. I would say no. I wouldn't call it a bad movie, technically.
I wonder if I saw this thing in 2007, I would have been like, oh no, Tarantino was done.
Oh.
You know? I wonder if I would have got the M. Night Shyamalan effect.
He was worried about that too. He said, like, I can't let this like keep me down. I need to make something that's better than this.
Because think about it. He does Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, Jackie Brown.
Yes.
He peaked at Pulp Fiction. Jackie Brown was a slight step down. And then he makes Kill Bill, which was beloved by a lot of people. But if I saw that in the theater, I would have thought, oh, no, he's kind of losing his step.
Well, he's sort of... I don't even know if I would necessarily say he's losing his step, at least from my perspective. But he's really changing himself.
Yes.
And really like making it known like who he wants to be with that movie. And ever since then, you see like the Kill Bill Tarantino from then on, for better or for worse. And right. I mean, often for better.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Kill Bill, he lays down the gauntlet. I am going to be the steward for this exploitation genre. Yeah. I'm going to introduce it to mainstream audiences, and I'm going to make it palpable. Mm-hmm. However, starting with Inglourious Bastards and going up until Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I'm assuming it follows the same template. He's sort of steered into spaghetti westerns.
Kind of.
And all of these movies are at least explicitly westerns or sort of pay homage to westerns. I mean, Inglourious Bastards has elements of western. I assume Once Upon a Time in Hollywood will have some homage to that genre. And I feel like that's actually his sweet spot.
He's great at it.
Yeah. I think if he had just done these movies his entire career, it would work.
Well, there's a tangibility to westerns that I think he loves. He loves that hands-on approach. He loves it when it's all in camera. And I mean, basically all westerns that get produced today still kind of follow those rules that he likes. Or they follow that the same kind of rhythm that he really, really likes. And he likes the practicality of it all. One of the reasons why he loved Mad Max Fury Road so much was because it was all pretty much done in camera. And that in and of itself is sort of a western.
Right.
So I could see him like cementing himself there and being pretty happy for a long time.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Tarantino. There's a new movie coming out this week.
Oh, yeah, there is.
Directed by the man.
It's going to suck. It's going to be shit.
I'm starting to think Thursday may be the most important day of my life. Starting to think. I'm starting to think.
The most important day of your... What about the last Tarantino movie? What about the 10th movie, you idiot?
Great point. All I know is like I'm waking up just thinking to myself,
I'm going to see this movie.
I'm seeing Once Upon a Time in America this week. That's something I get to do in my life.
You've already seen you haven't seen Once Upon a Time in America yet, have you?
Oh, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. That's right. I apologize. I eventually will see Sergio Leone's Once Upon a Time in America. But yeah, Thursday I will be seeing Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And just knowing that that's something in my future is like incredible.
Yeah.
I go to bed happy knowing that this week I will see that movie.
If you had the option, go see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, getting laid.
Oh, wow.
What's the option, Nico?
Gun to my head.
On that Thursday.
Do I ever get to see Once Upon a Time in America, Hollywood again? You
don't get to see it for a whole year.
Oh, fuck the pussy.
Really?
I can't wait. I can't wait another year. Are you kidding? 2019 has built to this moment for me. There's nothing I've ever anticipated more.
So when that ball dropped, it was all building too.
Are you kidding? My life has been building to this moment. Are you serious? Dude, sex only lasts like 10 minutes or 2 minutes if you're you. I mean, so come on, man.
All the listeners, we are talking about the movie, not the sex. My life's been building to this moment when I see another movie.
Not another movie. This movie.
Yes.
We will be talking about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood next week on the Movie Hall of Fame. You and I and possibly a guest, correct?
Possibly.
Yeah.
If he's not dead. The hit is still out.
Good point.
So
be on the lookout for that. Much more Tarantino conversation.
Hell yeah.
Coming to toomanythoughtsmedia.com around the corner this week. All right, let's play a game.
Oh, go. Oh, yes. we doing now? What are our options? I mean, we got a few.
I mean, I guess Kurt is the most obvious option.
I would love to do Kurt, honestly.
Yeah, let's do that.
I would love to do... What the hell? I used to know what he was worth. Actually.
Is this going to give you an advantage in the game?
I feel like I have my... I'm not... Hold on. What's the number?
Well, don't look it up.
I'm not looking it up, but what is this divided by? No, I have my number.
All right. Well, okay. Let's do Kurt. That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Kurt Russell.
Okay. Let's see.
Stuntman Mike.
Stuntman Mike. Man, what a name. Stuntman Mike.
So, Drew Carey is worth $165 million.
Mm-hmm.
How many Kurt Russells to get to one Drew Carey? Kurt Russell, of course, the star of Escape from New York. Father of Wyatt Russell. Star of Overlord. And that episode of Black Mirror.
I'm going...
And Lodge 49.
Lodge 49.
Great AMC show.
Did you mention any of his John Carpenter performances?
I just said Escape from New York.
Did you say The Thing?
I did not.
Did you say Big Trouble in Little China?
I did not.
Did you say Elvis?
Right. He does play Elvis in True Romance.
Not just Elvis in True Romance. He plays fucking Elvis in the movie Elvis.
Wait a minute. Is he Elvis in True Romance? No, that's Val Kilmer. I'm sorry.
He does play an Elvis in another movie. I forgot what it was. But he also... there is an Elvis TV movie that was very, very popular and did very, very well. That was directed by John Carpenter. And it stars Kurt Russell as the great Elvis Presley.
Sky High.
Oh my God, he is in Sky High. Holy shit. Oh, I love Sky High. I love it. What else is he in? He's in every... Oh, Tombstone.
Of course.
Bone Tomahawk.
Fuck to the yes.
That mustache, by the way, is maybe the greatest movie mustache next to Sam Elliott. It's pretty damn close.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
That's true. One of the best MCU films.
Tango and Cash.
Oh, God, that's right. Soldier by Paul W.S. Anderson.
He plays Elvis in Forrest Gump. That's right.
Does he?
Yes. He plays Elvis in Forrest Gump.
Oh, he's played Elvis like in like 5 different movies.
Poseidon?
Oh yeah, he is in Poseidon.
Furious 7?
Okay, that's right.
All right, I'm done listing Kurt Russell movies.
We love Kurt Russell.
We love him so much.
I love Kurt Russell more than most things. He's the best.
I agree. All right, what is your guess?
I'm going he's worth $30 million.
Okay, how many Drews is that?
I don't know.
All right, so we're going to say 5.5 Kurtz to get to one Drew Carey.
Okay.
I'm going higher.
What you doing?
I'm going to say 4. I'm
Oh.
going to say 4 Kurt Russells to get to one Drew Carey. That's about 40 million, something like that.
Okay.
Okay.
He might be worth more now. Because there's sort of been like a bit of a resurgence in Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
Which makes me very, very happy. He's going to be in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood too, right? I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Of course.
He better be.
Yeah, he's in every movie by Quentin now. Okay. Here we go. The actual net worth of film legend Kurt Russell. Whoa. $70 million.
Oh.
That's 2.3 Kurtz to get to one Drew Carey. That means I just won this week's edition of...
Damn.
How many Drew Careys?
Good job. Good for you, Kurt Russell. You deserve that money.
Thanks.
All right.
That's 2 in a row for me, by the way.
Is it 2 in a row?
In a bit of a hot streak right now.
Heating up.
Heating up!
Nico's heating up.
All right. That'll do it. Adam, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be back later this week on the Movie Hall of Fame talking about movies from 1967.
Yeah, early one for us.
Yeah, should be a hoot. And then, all the other shows available on the website, toomanythoughtsmedia.com or tmt.media for short. Until next time. You, Adam Hall, you've been so very, very naughty.
Naughty.